Yeah, we're ready.
We ready. We live, Coach. Man, we got one heck of a show playing this morning. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We're going to be talking portal. We're going to be talking players. Somebody told me they just bring people in their office and just put them on notice up front.
Exactly.
What we got, Coach?
Oh, man. Good morning, Game Day. Merry Christmas. We are so excited about this episode of Good Morning Game Day. We've got over 60 years of coaching experience. Two of the best in the game have thought it not robbery to bless our show. We're so excited to have two guys that I go way back with. The wide receiver coach at the University of Louisville and the wide receiver coach at the Minnesota Vikings, Keenan McCardell and Garrett McGee. And without any further ado, please make welcome our very special guest. Good morning, Game Day. Man, thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Sir. Appreciate you, Coach.
Oh, man. Yeah, we so excited. So it's 1987. I'm standing on the practice field. We're in the middle of fall camp. If anybody had told me, so you see a little wide receiver, that freshman from Houston Waltrip High School, said before he's through, he's going to have 883 receptions in the National Football League for 11,373 yards and win 2 Super Bowl rings. That kid right there, that freshman from Waltrip High School, that's him. He going to do that. I said, my goodness. but let me tell you something. Keenan McCardell's life story is a tribute to his perseverance, his character, his determination. And at the end of the day, I'm not surprised, man. I'm not surprised because it's the intangibles that make you a player. And Keenan McCardell's life is embraced all of that. Man, thanks so much.
Thank you, man. I remember us on the sideline running them gases, and you said a couple things to us, and it made me realize that I need to run faster. Because
you can't say what I said. Now you can't.
I just can't tell you what he said, but everybody down there by me said, "Coach, crazy. We need to run." So, and the guy that he had next down there with us was Icky Woods.
Oh my
and if he made Icky Woods run, we all was running. And he did.
Man. Oh man. And right quick before we listen, so our second guest, Garrett McGee. I go back to 1981 with this young man, Willie Jeffries, the first African American to be head coach at a Division I school, had a connection at Tulsa Booker T. Washington High School, where the legendary high school coach Larry McGee was the head coach. And he loved Coach Jeffries, and he would send us kids that the Wichita State, in reality, probably shouldn't have gotten. I mean, kids that could have gone to Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State. But he loved Willie Jeffries, and every time he had one, he said, put Montgomery in the car and send him on down here to get this kid. So I go down to Tulsa Booker T. Washington in 1981, and I'm in there office recruiting, and a little kid coming there about 8 or 9 years old. Daddy, give me some money for some candy. And it was Garrett McGee. And that's how far I go back with this guy and what he's done in college football, head coach at a group of 5 school, University of Alabama, Birmingham. He's been offensive coordinator in the SEC and in the Big Ten. And this guy's had an amazing career, Gary, man. Thanks so much for coming on our show, man.
Yes, sir. I sure appreciate those kind words, man. Hey, and by the way, I coach Keenan too, all right? So I've been coaching so long. Keenan was still putting in work.
Wow.
Keenan was still balling when I was started coaching.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
One day we were at practice. Keenan caught a little out route. And when he turned up the field to run, his elbow was loose with the ball.
Okay.
And I said, hey, man, I mean, I'm this little kid out there. They all pros. And I said, hey, man, you got to watch. When you spin out now, your back elbow is loose. And he said, oh, keep an eye on that. Don't let me fumble this ball, man. This ball is my money. Keep your eye on that elbow for me.
That's the money. If I tell my guys that right now, that's the money. You let go of the money, you can't get no money.
That's right.
I appreciate it.
Elbow in.
Don't fumble the bag. I got new meaning. Don't fumble the bag.
Don't fumble the bag mean a lot up here.
Yeah. Come on with it, Pam.
Okay, well, I'll start Well, we'll start with the biggest news and get the coach's opinion on for us here in North Carolina, with the big news being UNC hiring Bill Belichick. And so I'm a Tar Heel, so that was pretty exciting. But there's, we've heard a lot of pros and cons with that. Pros being with the new model. It seems like college is moving to the new NFL model. So if you both can chime in, especially I'll start with you, Coach McGee, since you're in the ACC, and how you feel like that changes, or does it? What you're doing now, as you talked about off camera with the transfer portal, just how does that change the game for you, or your thoughts on that hire?
Well, the transfer portal definitely changed the game. Now, and talking about Coach Belichick, he doesn't really change anything for Louisville because he don't get to play. You know what I mean? The players are going to play.
Right.
But I think there's some benefits, like you said. The NFL model now is in college. You got to have a general manager. You got to manage the money on the roster. That's in play. I think the challenges are going to be now he has to, when you start recruiting a kid in the 10th grade, he's only 15 years old. So you have to evaluate a 15-year-old kid when he's used to evaluating guys coming out of college. And sometimes that kid hadn't even developed his body. It's those type of challenges. Communicating with a young team. He's got a younger team now. And does that generation, is he going to be able to motivate that generation? Because these kids are different. These kids, those long drawn out meetings where you're doing all the talking. I'm not saying he does that, but these kids are not into that. They need it quick and fast, so there's going to be challenges, but if I was North Carolina, I would think I got a home run. I got Bill coaching my team.
You're off to a good start, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real careful. What I'm really interested to see is who he hires. That's what I'm paying close attention to. I'm gonna watch who he hires and how many folks on his staff look like the five of us. Okay, that's what I'm really careful to see that, because he's in a whole nother dynamic, and the forgiveness. It's gonna be a short honeymoon now. You rest assured, because there's a brother up there in Boulder, Colorado, who has turned it around in 2 years. Okay, and you got to remember this too. First and foremost, North Carolina is a hoop school. Come on now, Garrett. You know I'm right about it. It's a hoop school. You win 12 games in North Carolina in football. They still want to know when we're gonna open up the Dean Dome for practice.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think he definitely has to bring a playoff appearance to North Carolina for them to forget. They're not gonna ever forget basketball.
Thank you.
State of North Carolina is basketball.
That's right.
I think they're headed in the right direction, because I think Bill is a stickler on fundamentals and practicing, and like Garrick said, he's gonna have to figure out how to communicate to a younger generation. And I think he understands that, and his hires are going to be key, like you said, Coach.
Absolutely.
I think it doesn't, like, if they look like us, or just that he just need communicators, guys that can communicate, that can get in there on the ground level and communicate and make guys play, and also be good teachers. Bill is a great teacher. So,
absolutely.
So he's going to hire guys that are great teachers, and I think that's the thing. He's going to have great teachers and great communicators, because they're going to be on the road. It's going to be some guys that's going to have to be on the road, pounding those streets to get those kids. And like Garrick said, he's looking at a 15-year-old kid, and this is where his GM and all his his recruiting coordinator people will have to see how they can evaluate a 15-year-old going from 15 to 17. Some of these guys 15 to 26 in college, but he's going to have to see how that development happens. And the first year is going to be a trial run. I think it'll be easier for him to be in the transfer portal, because those guys are more developed already. But is he going to deal with somebody else's problems? That's the thing. And the kids are going to have a rude awakening, because I played for Bill for 4 years. It's going to be a rude awakening for how he disciplines and how how he practiced. They better get ready to practice because it's. I think for him, he likes it because they can practice and pass. In the NFL, you only have 13 padded days a year. So these guys, they're gonna have a rude awakening when spring ball comes. It's gonna be real football. So get ready for it. I mean, but
absolutely, Keenan.
I'm looking forward to seeing him do some things different than he did at New England.
I tell you what. Come on, K-Man. Come on, K-Man.
Yeah,
come on, K-Man.
One of the questions I wanted to ask was because I think that was good that you said that, Keenan, because I was curious, how, like his style, how you think that would relate to actually on the field, as far as practice and those things. But I think probably his biggest problem is going to be, and this is Garrett, I got a question for you, is the transfer portal works both ways, right? So coming in, he's about to take all of the benefits out of the portal right now. After they get that Keenan McCardle effect that we just talked about, some of them going to get back in that portal. And people are going to start moving around, whether they should or shouldn't. They're going to be back in that portal. How much do you think that's probably going to affect, his early success? Because he's only talking about a 3-year deal. I mean, you may talk about 3 years, 2.5 years before you even get to, a team that he wants to be, that he wants.
Yeah, I think it'll affect them. I mean, because there's some things in college, let's say you're recruiting a kid that he was a backup his 10th grade year, but he has potential to be a big time player. He played behind a guy that was headed off to a big college, so he hadn't really done his thing yet. But because of his potential, nowadays he can ask for money to come visit the program. He can say, if you give me $5,000, I'll come visit your program. And for Bill looking at a 15-year-old like that, he's probably going to have an issue with that. Not that he's going to be like, what are y'all talking about? This kid don't even know how to play football yet. I'm not paying him to come. But that's the motto in college nowadays.
Absolutely.
That's where the colleges are going to show up.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
That starts with all the handlers, and I know, Garrett, you deal with a lot of handlers of players in high school already that's got basically they're their agents, and I don't know how Bill is going to handle that. Hopefully he lets Mike Lombardi or whoever handles it a little bit, but at some point he's going to have to face it it's going to be right in his face. And I don't know how Bill's going to handle a handler talking about he has to give a 10th grader $5,000 or $10,000 just to come, not to sign, just to come visit the school.
All day.
I had no idea. I've been around this day since the day it started. I had never heard, like, legitimately they could ask for that coming up just like in your face.
Just for visits.
Absolutely.
Just to show up on campus. Yeah, that's how it is nowadays.
Here's my concern. He's already proven that he has a discerning eye for talent. Okay. So the transfer portal, that's going to be 20, 21, 22-year-old, 23, 24-year-olds. I know the guy got an eye for talent. He took a 6th-round draft pick and made him a 6-time Super Bowl MVP, talking about TB12 Tom Brady. I ain't worried about how this guy handled grown men. But when you got to go to Selma, Alabama, to go get James Earl Jackson, this 18-year-old, okay, who you going to have on your staff walking up in James Earl Jackson's house and mama got a big pot of greens, pot liquor, and cornbread, and you got to sit down on that sofa and convince that child to come to North Carolina? That's what I want to see.
Let me say this. This is the challenges.
Okay.
Is that recruiting is totally different now. Like the recruiting class we just signed, they moved the signing date up to December.
Okay.
Where you play your games up until December. But what if I told you, because you're going to be like, oh no, all the guys we've signed, you either sign them in June or in December.
Okay.
They don't go in their homes anymore. The calendar does not allow you to go into the homes anymore.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that recruiting has changed. This is all the kid comes to campus. The kid comes on an official visit to your school. Then signing date is the week after the season's over. So everything's different. He doesn't have to move around from like you used to do, Coach. Driving from city to city, going in, eating every meal, even when you didn't like the meal, you had to eat it. No, we don't do that no more.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Keenan, man, listen.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, my brother. The Vikings are in second place in the NFC North.
Mhm.
You guys are riding a 6-game win streak, right? Six
Yep.
game win.
Something
Yeah.
like
All
that.
right.
I don't count them. It's just
You don't
one
count.
one at a
Ain't no
time.
One
It's
at a
one.
time.
one at
One
a
and
Okay,
oh.
time.
coach.
Oh,
One and
my.
oh.
Coach, it's just one
Yep.
game.
One and
1-0,
oh.
baby.
I
That's what
get
we're
it.
trying to be.
I get it. But man, your quarterback Sam Donald hotter than a $2 pistol. This guy is on fire. You're coaching arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. It's
Mhm.
this Jefferson kid. Sam Donald, 3,299 yards, 28 touchdown passes. That's sixth in the NFL. He's only thrown 10 interceptions. Did you have any idea that this guy needs a retread? Any way you slice it up, this guy's a retread. But did you have any idea that he would perform like this?
You know what? It was a question for everybody in the building, but Sam,
Mm.
put his head down, got with his receivers, got with the tight ends, got with everybody. I mean, and just went out to work. And I'm a big believer. If you go work and y'all work together, we all gonna help each other to get to our goal. And I think
You're a
that,
living witness. You
and,
yourself a living witness. All right,
and
come
I
on,
and
come
I
on.
think that, and I admire that about him. He put all, he didn't hear the noise outside, and I love that. When you don't, like, I always tell my guys, don't listen to the noise outside. We know what we got inside, and he knew what he had inside that was going to help him. He was always a talent. He had a talented arm, and people just, some things in the league, it takes a while. I mean, I think I just, my 5th year, I started to blossom. This is Sam's 5th year, 6th year, and he's starting to blossom. And you start to understand how to play the game. You start to grow up and be a grown man in this game and understand that you do grown men things. And when I say about grown men things, I tell my guys all the time, this is your job. Your job is to do what you're supposed to do, what you're being coached. And it's just like when your mom and daddy used to get up and go to work and feed you. You got to feed your child. So come over here and do your job. If you do what we say do, it's gonna work out for you. And I think Sam has done that. And you say hotter than a $2 gun. I think he hotter than fish grease right now.
That's
When
what I'm
them
talking
fish
about,
grease
man.
get hot,
There they
it
go.
stay hot. I think
That's what I'm talking about.
and I want him
Yeah.
to stay that way. And one big thing about Sam, he's a great leader. Guys love to be around him. When you got a quarterback that people love to be around,
Yeah.
they'll go do anything. They're gonna run through the wall for you. So I think we have a great group of guys that love to play together. And when you got that, it means success.
You,
Come
you
on, kid,
think,
man.
yeah, you think some of that too is because I've been watching Sam John just like everybody else is. So since he's been in the league, that he just was just honest about this is what I'm really good at. This is what I can do, right? Y'all can count on me to do this.
Yep.
And then once everybody kind of embrace that, it's like, okay, well, my man said he's good at it. The 10-yard out. Let's make it work.
Coach O'Donnell's been great with him because, like, I always tell people that good coaches don't think about their system. They think about their players. They do
Mm.
what their players do
Right.
or do best. And you lean on that because in crunch time, you lean on what they do best. Most likely they're going to come out successful. And they're going to do the right things and make the plays that you want them to play. And, as a coaching staff, we understood that about Sam, and we know what he likes. And let's give him all that he likes. Let him keep eating on what he likes. And
Right.
it's going to turn out to be successful. And, that's the thing that I love about our coaching staff. It's everybody always say it's always about the system. Sometimes it's about those Jimmys and Joes that's out there running those routes and catching those footballs and running, and tackling. So you gotta, as a coach, sometimes put your system behind yourself and make your player the best thing possible for your team.
All day.
That's
Sam.
awesome.
Sam. They wrote him off. Sam didn't write back. So yeah. And you guys are playing with house money, Keenan, because you got a first-round draft pick that tore his knee up. I'm talking about J.J. McCarthy. Now you guys are playing with house money. Yeah, boy. Let me tell you now. When the draft comes around, it's going to be some head scratching in the building. I got to call it for what it is. I mean, Sam Darnold, 27 years old, is going to take you guys to the playoffs. and you got a guy over here that you got first round money tied up in. Ooh, man, that's a good problem to have, I tell you.
Good problem to have. When it come up, I deal with it then. Right now, I got other things that we're trying to get
You know,
to.
ain't that the
So
truth, Keenan? They
that
got
I ain't
you in the
looking
middle
that
of the
far.
season. They got you in
I'm
the
where
middle.
my
You think about the
I'm where my
practice
feet
today.
are.
That's
I
right.
know that's right.
Today.
So I had a question coming off of you talking about how important the player is, Coach Keenan. I talked to Coach Montgomery, and he said that you were an overachiever, always been an overachiever at UNLV. So I know you coach that way. So tell us how special Jordan Addison is, and your approach with him.
My approach to him is this: you got a guy that's magnificent on the other side, that everybody call the greatest receiver in the league right now, the best receiver in the league. Where you gonna be? I said, I don't coach nothing but greatness, so you got to catch up. You know, and I tell him that. I mean, and Garrett could tell you how I think. There's no way, no how that anybody in the league that I played with, Jerry, Allen, was better than me. Garrett could tell you that's how I felt, and that's how I will still feel. And I wanted him to have that chip on his shoulder to when he came in, because I'm like, bro, you have had a team when you was at Pitt, you was the guy. When you was at USC, you was the guy. So you come to Minnesota, I don't want you to take take the back seat to JJ. I want you to feel like you are the guy, and you got to have that attitude like that to be successful in this league. If not, this league will eat you up. So that's how I am with him, and he knows that. JJ knows that, and it's great competition. They love playing with each other because JJ, I ask him sometimes, "You want to be great? Well, I'm waiting on you," and that's how I build it. I build it that way in my room, from my fifth guy to my third guy. Hey, your opportunity to be great is every time you step out on the field. So show me greatness.
Let me tell you one story. About he started talking about confidence, and Keenan McCardell is Keenan McCardell. Well, I was coaching the Jaguar. We had Keenan and Jimmy Smith. They would run out the locker room together, just them two, and the field would get hotter when they walk out there. Like we here now. One time we played Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh around Thanksgiving, so it was cold up there. We flew in, the plane landed. A limousine pulled up next to the plane. We all get out and get on the bus. Keenan and Jimmy go get in the limousine, spend about 5-10 minutes in the limousine, the bus waiting, and then they get out of the limousine with some brand new all black mink coats and got on.
Wow.
Man, them two, that's the spirit of the team right there.
What a story. What a story. What a story. What a story.
Hey, look, you got to admit, though, if you're willing to do it, you be willing to back it up. I can tell you that.
You got to. You got to.
All day. Man, so Monday night,
Big game.
the Vikings and the Bears. And man, and right quick, you guys, Brian Flores, your defensive coordinator, and this bend but don't break defense that he's deploying is what's facilitating you guys getting back out there on the field. 1-2-3 punt, 1-2-3 punt, get back out there. Brian Flores is a head coach in waiting, as you are as well, Keenan, as you are. You're going to get your shot. But Brian Flores, I'm hearing his name already. And, little Bird told me that he's high on Ryan Poe's list at the Bears. So that's a good morning game.
I mean, he's a candidate that people need to look at. I mean,
Ain't no question.
He's a great coach, great
Ain't
person.
Ain't no question.
Gets guys motivated, love to have fun, but he has that Bill quality in him.
He's a Bill Belichick disciple.
He's hard on guys, but he's fair with guys. Bill's hard on guys, but he's fair. And Brian is the same way. I mean, he's done a great job with our defense. Like we always talk about complimentary football, and I loved when Flo Brian just says that, let's just play complimentary football.
Yeah.
And if we play complimentary football, we should get a win each and every week. And he's right. Some games we start slow, they pick us up. Some games they start slow and we pick them up. and our special teams step in and pick both of us up sometimes. So, and when he stresses that, I mean, he means it. And it's funny because I hear Bill in him when he says that.
He's a Bill Belichick disciple all day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, a team would bode well to make him their head coach.
Yeah. Keenan, man, thanks so much for coming on our show, man.
Yes, thank you.
I'm just happy to be on here with Garrett McGee. You know, he is the guy. You know, I thank y'all for having me, but man, I'm on here with the guy that made everything the right way for me.
Well, see, awesome. now we got the real deal about the meat coach and the limousine. So
he wasn't supposed to tell y'all that story.
That man.
Look, you know what's funny? I guarantee he tells some player at some point, man, you don't need to be doing all that. You need to be worried about what you're doing on the field.
They can do that themselves.
No, they were like that though. Keenan say, no, I gotta get my hands rubbed on, get my hands done. This is how I make my money with these hands.
Yes, all day, every day. My hands and my feet. That's how I make my money.
Keenan, I got to ask you this right quick because we always talk about Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. Kudos to Deion Sanders for having the insight. It was something that he saw about your former teammate, guy by the name of Warren Sapp, that played with you on that Super Bowl team when you were at Tampa Bay, coached by John Gruden. And chime in right quick before you get out of here about Warren Sapp and what Warren Sapp has done at Colorado.
Both of those guys are my friends, and I know what Deion sees. He saw the passion that Warren has for the game, the passion that he has for teaching young players. You know, he coaches like he plays. You know, he was coached by Rod Marinelli, so the great D-line coach for us, and he brings that to the field. Rod Marinelli used to say, Sapp is the hardest working defense superstar that he's ever been around. But Rod wasn't gonna let anybody just go through his practice. So I think Deion sees that he brings that passion, that energy, and he can relate, and Sapp can relate to the young kids. That's one thing he can do. He can relate to the young kids and make them see what he's trying to get done, and just give him his life experiences. You know, think about it. He was one of those superstars in college. He can teach them how to be a superstar in college and still, you know, get ready to be a superstar in the league. You know, that's what these young guys want to know. How can I get to that NFL? Garrett can tell you, they want to know what is the secret to get to the NFL. And if you can give them that secret, those guys will go out there and lay it on the line for you. And I think that's what Deion saw in Warren. And Warren's a great person. People have to know him. Once Bear loves you, he loves you to the fullest.
I want to ask Coach, right? You know, I know we got to let him get out of here, but you know, speaking about Deion, you know, especially Keenan and Gary, how a lot of people look at this and they don't really kind of piece together how difficult this was and what he did and what he's done in the last 24 months, right? Talk about how difficult and how spectacular what he's put together and what he's accomplished in Colorado is, especially understanding the transfer portal. And like you just said, Keenan, understanding, you know, how you get a person like Warren Sapp to start coaching guys that are really 3-stars somewhere else and they're coming out to be 5-stars. People talking about getting drafted in 24 months. How difficult was it for what we're watching, what he put together in Colorado so far?
Yeah, I got to let you answer that one.
Well, it was difficult. They were down. Remember, they were 1-something when he got there. But I think what really did help Deion was who his son was. That kid, I think, the way he can stand in the pocket with not the best protection and consistently standing there and deliver the football down the field and get hit and take shots and just carry the squad. I think that's the tribute, man. That's his real son. That's not the transfer portal kid. This is my son. And you know, I think the man should get all the credit in the world. And you know, with this communicating with the young generation, well, Prime been that guy.
Yes.
You know, Deion Sanders is Deion Sanders, so he's gonna be able to communicate with those kids, and he got them rolling. So I love
Keenan, man, thanks, man. Appreciate you. I know you got to get to your meeting. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I got to get there. I got to get ready for this the Bears, man.
That's
It's a
right.
divisional game, so we got to have it. But
we're gonna be watching Monday Night Football. We'll be pulling, praying for you, my brother.
thank you. I thank you guys for having me too.
We
Man,
appreciate
Thank
you
you
coming
so
on.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Keenan, man. Appreciate you. Garrett McGee, my brother, on your way to the Sun Bowl.
Yes.
But man, listen, it's 3 teams. The CFP starts Friday, and it's 3 teams that you all played at Louisville that are in this tournament. You lost to Notre Dame 31-24. You lost to SMU 34-27, but you whipped Clemson in Clemson 33-21. All right, Friday night it kicks off. What's your take? What's your take? Texas goes to Darrell K. Royal Stadium Friday night. Take on the Longhorns. Y'all beat Clemson. What's your take?
I think it's going to be hard to beat Texas at home. I just think they got a lot of talent. That's going to be a tough win on the road. But if you play the right way, when you take care of the football, tackle the field, you can beat anybody. But I just think it's going to be hard to beat Texas in Texas. Now, the one Penn State and SMU, I think it's whoever's going to be able to control the pace of the game. Like, is SMU physical enough to stop Penn State and slow them down?
Now you're talking.
Is Penn State fast enough? Is Penn State fast enough to keep up with SMU?
Now you're talking.
I think that noontime kickoff is a really good thing for SMU because it won't be so cold up there.
You don't want to be in Beaver Stadium at night in December. No.
But I mean, Penn State's got a really good running back, really good tight end, probably the best 2 out there. But SMU has weapons everywhere.
Yeah.
And they can score from anywhere on the field. So if the game gets in the high 20s or in the 30s, I think SMU has that one. If they can keep it low, then Penn State would have a shot.
Okay. All right. What's your take on Ohio State hosting Tennessee?
It's kind of the same thing. Can Ohio State's defense slow down Tennessee's offense? Because I don't think, Ohio State is built to score that many points. And the games that they win are low-scoring games when Tennessee is a fast-paced and scoring offense. So that's going to be if Ohio State's defense can slow them down and give the offense a chance.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Well, I've kicked this back and forth with Pam and K-Mac. So in the finals, okay, when the dust is settled, there are going to be 2 teams playing. Give me your definite and give me your either or. Give me your definite and then your either or.
Well, I think Oregon is undefeated. I think you got to go beat that team. Somebody's got to beat them.
Okay.
And they've proven that they're battle tested. I mean, they, took Ohio State to a tight, tough game, so they've been challenged, and they have weapons that are high money players on the field. They're not just good young kids anymore.
Okay.
They got high money players spread out across that field.
Okay.
And then there's something about me to think Georgia Bulldogs, man. What they did against Georgia Tech that night, they hung in there and kept playing. And
8 overtimes.
Yeah, there's something. They have a spirit that it's going to be hard to beat them if they're playing well.
Okay. Especially if they get Carson Beck back.
Yes. That's
especially that's the big question with them.
Yeah.
But here's my thing, and Coach Jackie Sherrill, when he came on our show, he said Texas has issues. I think that Kirby Smart unveiled them. I don't think at the end of the day that Steve Sarkisian and his Longhorns are mentally and physically tough enough to come through this tournament. I don't. When Georgia went back in that game and they were on the 3 or 4 yard line and Carson Beck got put out of the game, didn't play a snap in the second half, but he came out there on that field and his arm was dangling and hanging down on his side. What in the hell did you think they was going to do? You knew that gum good and well they wasn't going to throw it. And they lined up on that 3 yard line and bam, hit them in the mouth. That toughness of Georgia, I think that Kirby Smart. I told you before when we talked. I think that Detroit is the toughest team in the NFL. Certainly in the NFC. I think Philadelphia the most talented. I think Detroit's the toughest, and I think that the Georgia Bulldogs are this year's version of the Detroit Lions. I think they're the toughest team in this tournament. That's my take.
That's a good take. That's a good take. And I think he coaches like that. You know, that's the spirit in that building is that they got to play us. Like they've played everybody else, but they got to play us for 60 minutes.
There's not a senior. There's not a senior on Georgia's team that has lost a game in Sanford Stadium. There's not a. I mean, wow. Do the math on that. Let me hear from you, Pam.
Yes, sir. So my question for Coach McGee, going back to just reflecting on the ACC, and we talk about this a lot on the show, the power of the ACC, or the decline in the ACC as people look at us and the respect. So when you're talking and you're recruiting, or do you feel that that it has been a shift in ACC as you see the teams that are in the playoffs and SMU coming? Does that help the ACC, or does that say something different that a new school could come in and do what SMU has done?
No, I think it helps. I mean, you're saying that even this season, Notre Dame plays ACC schedules. Mm-hmm. Most people play Notre Dame. SMU's in, Clemson's in, Miami could be in. You know what I mean? Last year, we're in the conference championship against an undefeated Florida State team.
Right.
There's a lot. Boston College is better. I mean, the guys doing a really good job up there. They're playing. Syracuse is winning. They're beating people up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the ACC is deep. Everybody, is about the same, and it just matters who's going to play the best on that particular day. That's how the ACC is.
Wow. Just speaking about the ACC and the strength of the conference and how it's changed. And then, with UNC now, with Belichick, and then people just basically highlighting the fact that the ACC is like, look, we're here to stay in football, and we're trying to pause and make a statement. What do you think has to change for, I guess, the conference as a whole to take that next step to be recognized as that premier conference that's competing with the SEC and others?
Well, I think that if somebody's got to win the championship. I mean, SMU's got to run through it and win it, and then they're going to say it's the ACC team that won it. So somebody's got to break through it. And you know what? In some of these matchups, you got an ACC team going up to a Big Ten team playing on that level of that stage. Mm-hmm. Those types of games are not just about the two teams that are playing, but it's about the conference.
Yep.
That were they prepared to compete on this level based on the conference play? And SMU could do a lot, with that, helping out with that. Clemson going down to Texas. Mm-hmm. That's an ACC school against the SEC school. It's bigger than just a game. All of that matters in those types of matchups.
That's right. It's bigger than just a game.
Bigger than just a game. That's good.
Yeah. The going rate, talking about dollar bills for quarterbacks in NIL, and you're an expert on that, and we've talked about it many times, you and I, over the year, since NIL and transfer portal, free agency. There's a quarterback that you brought to the University of Louisville by the name of Lamar Jackson. You went out, you recruited him, you signed him. What do you think Lamar Jackson would have earned? How much would he have been worth coming out of high school, right? Recruited. How deep would your pocket have had to be to get Lamar Jackson had he coming out of high school right now?
I think that coming out of high school, he was not a 5-star recruit.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a 4-star recruit. But after he played his freshman year in college, we played Texas A&M, and he had 250 rushing and 320 passing. And we played Kentucky, and he had another 250, 300 game. After that freshman year, that offseason, there would have been a bid more for him. Yeah, there would have been a major bid more. And
man, big time, big time.
Guys nowadays are making millions. Lamar would have been a.
But earlier you said something. I was just doing the math on it. So you telling me if I'm in the 10th grade, in the 11th grade, if I take 10 visits, I could possibly make $100,000?
If your agent or handler is slick enough to pull that off, yes. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So
agent or handler.
Man, that's pretty. So seeing that you have an agent, because a lot of people, we think we know about the portal and how it's working and NIL and all these things. I asked you earlier, I think we were off air when I was talking about the UNLV issue, where 3-4 games in, the money, according to the agent or handler, the money was funny, so we're gonna leave, we're gonna do things like that. What advice would you give for people that's either in the portal, trying to move around or coming in, signing NIL deals, making sure that all of the ducks are in a row to kind of prevent some of these missteps from happening?
Well, I think you got to spend more time getting to know people that you're dealing with. Like this portal thing happens so fast, and people offer this, and then you say yes the next day to this, and you don't get to know the people that you're dealing with. I'm talking the program and dealing with the kid, and the kid and dealing with the program. That those type of relationships, there's no time to build that anymore. So I think that's important. Do business with people that you trust.
Yeah. Gary, the one thing they're gonna have to change, right quick, Pamela. One thing they're gonna have to change. They got to stop. The transfer portal opened up last Monday, correct?
That's right.
All right. They got to change that. Have the transfer portal open after the bowl games. Too much dadgum movement. Y'all quarterback already said, I ain't playing. Have the portal open up after the bowl game. That's my take. What's yours?
Yeah, the issue with that is they still are students. And nobody talks about that part of it anymore. That school starts in January 4th. Some of the bowl games aren't over until, after that. So you got to get them in position to get accepted to school and get in school by the second semester. So that's why that transition. It is tough timing though, because if you're playing in a championship tournament, your kids are either going to play or they can't transfer because the window will get closed on them. Like there's a lot of scheduling issues that are, I think they still got to work out with this transfer portal. They have another transfer portal window that opens up after spring ball. So you can have your team together. You can practice all 15 spring practices. And then at the end of April, kids can leave again.
Wow.
We had 2 kids that came in January. They practiced February, March, April with us, lifted, trained, ate all the food, learned all the plays, and then they left in April and went to another school that we play against. That's how the world is now. That's how college football is now.
Wow. Come on, Pam.
I was going to say that's a great caveat to my question. Knowing how it is now, talking about how the movement comes and goes with the transfer portal, how has that changed, if it has, your approach to coaching, your style with a player, and how you coach them up in development and even discipline them, because they could get mad and leave quickly. So has your approach changed, and what are you doing to impact?
Well, a lot of people would say that their approach, they backed off the kid so that the kid won't get mad and leave. I tell the kids the transfer portal works in both ways. If you want to go. It's somebody else in the portal that wants to come.
Okay.
Because in reality, it's a risk when you jump in the transfer portal. Especially if you're not jumping in for the right reasons. If you're just selfishly moving, there's a risk involved. And kids don't really want to take that risk, and their parents don't. But the change, you got to coach different, meaning your X's and O's, because you get a lot of one-year players. So you got to be able to implement the system fast. You got to be able to have different type of tip sheets. We don't have 3 years to develop this guy and get him to learn the system. He's got to be ready to perform. We're paying him a lot of money to produce on the field this season.
Mm-hmm.
So your teaching has to change. You got to get them ready to play faster.
Okay.
The communication with a kid, he's used to this particular system at this school. He gets to your school, you got to change his whole way of thinking, and it has to happen fast because we paid him too much money to sit on the bench because he don't know the plays. That's not going to work. He could be playing anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
If I'm paying, you playing.
Garrett, you and I have often talked about how you scout and cherry pick HBCU football for the transfer portal. You got to have a discerning eye. Jackson State takes on South Carolina State in the Celebration Bowl. Both of these are two good football teams. And Coach Taylor at Jackson State went on record today and said, we take pride in putting a good brand of football on the field. So it's going to be, these are two good football teams. You're going to be watching it, and I know you're going to be watching it. What has been your experience in recruiting / NIL transfer portals as it concerns HBCU football?
We have a kid from Tuskegee. It was on Tuskegee's team last year. He's on our team now. He's doing a really good job. We haven't really. I'll tell you this. All players are open in college football now.
Okay.
So if there's a player that can upgrade your roster in college football and you have a shot at it, if you don't try to get them and upgrade your roster, you're really not trying to win. Now, that happens all over the place. Like the kid from Alabama, the number one defensive back in the country from Alabama, went to Ohio State. So it's not just your cherry picking, HBCU schools. It's happening all over. One of our rivals took one of our players at the end of spring ball. He went down to another school, then came back, and they beat us. And he had a great game. So it's not just, picking off the lower division. It happens.
Yeah, ain't no question it happens.
Like I said, Ohio State got Alabama's one of the top DBs in the country. They got him to come.
So really, spring ball is back to it's really just a tryout because until we get past spring ball, everybody can do something different if they want to.
That's exactly right.
That's good.
Right.
That's good.
That's right.
Yeah, that's good. That makes us watching spring ball a lot more interested now. Because now I'm looking to see who gonna get mad and say, man, we don't have nothing. I'm gonna go back to Miami.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
That's how it is.
Yeah. So Garrett, Jackson State, we talked about Celebration Bowl, which commemorates the HBCU National Championship. These two very good football teams. Chennisberry in his first year there, taking South Carolina State Bulldogs, riding a 9-game win streak. And it's a very good football team. They have 7 players on their offensive team that made first team All-MEAC. In the 6 years of the Celebration Bowl, this is the 3rd time Jackson State's been. The last time they met up, Coach Prime was the head coach, and South Carolina State, coached by Buddy Pugh, beat them 31-20. They meet up today. At 12 o'clock Eastern time. That place is going to be packed. I played in the SWAC. I got Jackson State. Who you got?
Well, I got the team.
Come on, tell me.
I'm a coach. I got the team that can manage the distractions of a championship game. Like who can get on the field focused and be who they've been the whole season. Which team is going to take care of the football and not have a disastrous turnover to give away points? And which team is going to control explosive plays down the field? And that's all going to come down to mentally, can we manage all the mess that's going on around the game? And which coaching staff can get their kids settled into the game the fastest? Because early they're going to be all fired up. Ultimately, they're going to have to settle down and start concentrating and start executing football.
I think you got to keep your eye on that Jackson State running back, Irv Mulligan. He ran for 1,174 yards and scored 11 touchdowns. Jackson State is going to try to impose their will and win by attrition and own the line of scrimmage. I'm an old school O-line guy. I like to run the rock, pound that football. On the other hand, South Carolina State, it is a quick strike passing game. I know you're a quarterback, wide receiver guy. Watch that boy Eric Phoenix. He's thrown for 2,469 yards and 20 touchdown passes. He's electrifying. Who can control the flow of the game that you just talked about? But this is going to be one hell of a football game, this Celebration Bowl.
That's right. Who has the energy? Who has the mental stamina to compete for all 4 quarters?
All day.
You can break down in the third quarter and lose that quarter and lose the game. But which team can hang in there and keep grinding the longest?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the MEAC, Pam, is 6-2 in this. They won 6 up. So 6-2 against the SWAC. What I got a lot of friends in South Carolina State. Big shout out to my little brother Mike Summers, South Carolina State Hall of Famer, Coach Willie Jeffries, South Carolina State. But I just think that the SWAC this year was a more physical league. And I'm going to have to eat a lot of crow next week if I'm wrong. But I got Jackson State winning this football game. K-Mac, you got any comment on that, my brother? I know you D-Love. I know you D-Love.
Well, I'm going to say, I'm from the state of Mississippi, I believe. So you ain't got to worry. You don't have to worry about that.
Well, Coach, you're going to owe me that card that you always show because I'm going the total opposite and going with South Carolina State. They scored over 100 and some points in 2 games. And I think, yes, Jackson State has the experience, and sometimes, like they've been there all this time, they may look past them. I'm going.
Okay, Pam. Well, I'm gonna need you to be ready on Monday.
And I'm just going I am going to be ready.
Okay. All right. Don't go against the boom.
It would be great if they actually won the celebration bowl. It won't feel as bad.
That's what we're doing now.
That's what we're doing.
South Carolina State, to their credit, I think when you look at the schedule of both of these 2 teams for the 2024 season, South Carolina State beat Trey Oliver and the North Carolina Central Eagles. And South Carolina State had 41 minutes, Garrett, 41 minutes possession time. So, man,
I take that game.
Man, that's gonna be a hell of a ball game. ABC is carrying this game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna be sure to tune in and try to catch some plays there. But I'm a SWAC guy, so I got to go with Jackson. Garrett, man, thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, we're gonna call you back after spring ball because I want to find out what's going on. What's popping?
We want to scoop after spring.
Right.
Yeah, man. When you come to Houston, man?
I don't know. We got. We're going to El Paso, which is different. It's a much different thing, but we'll be down there for that bowl game.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, the schedule nowadays, it's not much time for coaches anymore. You don't get that break that we used to get back in the day.
Yeah,
because of the portal, because of the recruiting, official visits in the summertime. Like the scheduling has completely changed. So it's not much time to, get out anymore.
Yeah. Well, man, holler, man, when you come this way, we'll kick it. We got to hook up, man. Yeah, no question. Big shout out Keenan again, my brother. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Yes, this has been great.
It's been wonderful. We appreciate it. Coaches always, man, we have a good time having Keenan on, having Garrett on, man. It's been a pretty special day. And I ain't gonna lie, Garrett gave me an insight to the portal that now I'm interested now to see how some of this stuff is gonna play out later on in the year.
You know what?
Following the portal tracker a little more closely.
We have one up in the office.
Okay.
You know what? Before we get out of here, quarterback movement in this transfer portal. I heard the other day from a very reliable source that Auburn has backed the Brinks truck up to Lenoris Sellers, that quarterback at South Carolina. That Auburn had backed the Brinks truck up to his house. So I told him on our show, several weeks ago, it's going to take a lot of money to keep Lenore Sellers with the South Carolina Gamecock program. Another got to watch, keep your eye close on Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
Will he be will he be with Kalen DeBoer next year at the Crimson Tide? There's going to be a lot of movement. Connor Wegman already done inked with U of H. I'm telling you, man, watch that quarterback at Florida. I know you're very familiar. Dan Mullen just got the UNLV job, and you and Dan Mullen go back when you worked for Dan Mullen at Florida. That DJ Lagley kid, he's a player. And I'm just telling you, this quarterback movement down the stretch, when will that be all over, Garrett? When will we know where these guys are going?
In the next 2 weeks, probably somewhere in that window.
Okay.
I think next week there's going to be the movement will start happening. Now, for guys that are playing in bowl games that have not, they have a window from now, I think, until December 28th to put their name in the portal.
Okay.
After December 28th, you can't go in the portal until the spring portal window.
All right.
So, next 2 weeks, you're going to be hearing a lot of stuff, going on.
Okay. All right. Hey, man, listen, again, Garrett, thanks, man. Merry Christmas, bro.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir. Always good. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, no question. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Sure. Yeah. Pam, K-Mag.
Yes.
What's going on, Coach?
Hey, man, hang all the mistletoe. I want to get to know you better. There you go. Hey, thank God. Hey, thanks so much for having me. Again, it was a pleasure. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And thanks so much. We're growing, man. Please hit that subscribe button for all the folks that watch, that tuning in. We're getting bigger and better, and we're just so grateful for your participation. And I'm looking forward to next Saturday morning.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Tell Keenan we'll have him back on and find out how that Bears thing worked out.
Yeah, ain't no question. Merry Christmas, K-Mac. Merry Christmas, Pam. Earl Reese, I know you're watching, man.
Hey, Coach, I want to tell you, right? Look, tell Andre she did a good job back there with them black Santa Claus. I like
They look really good.
I know you didn't do it, so don't you try to take credit. Don't even try that.
Well, no, I won't.
You didn't let her move that football, though.
I did. Andrea is the assistant producer in charge of domestic affairs. So yeah.
Well, that might be a new description for wifey. New description for wifey. What? Say that title one more time.
Good.
Domestic.
Exactly. All right, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy it as always.
All right. Take care. We out.